Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Bella.
So today we are from Group 1 and we would like to present a presentation about methodology for ESP. But before we start, please let us introduce ourselves.
All right, my name is Niputu Widya Puspadewi.
My name is Lo Irma Susianti.
My name is Nia Aryani.
My name is Anggita Widyasari.
My name is Ketudevang Aramanda Suwardana.
My name is Mari Desa Permana Putra.
My name is Putu Dwi Septiani.
And my name is Kadek Bella Widiani. So without any further ado, let's start the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Bella. So, what is methodology in ESP? English for Specific Purpose, or ESP, refers to a process, techniques, and procedure used to teach English for specific fields such as tourism, business, or engineering. Unlike general English, ESP methodology is learner-centered. It focuses on what learners need to do with English in their work or studies. And that's why ESP teachers typically design lessons that are task-based, communicative, and content-based. That's meaning they connect classroom activities to real life communication. And ESP uses a variety of methods. And the next material will be presented by my partner.
All right, thank you, Dwi. So today we're moving to the next material. It is about the types of method in English Specific Purpose or ESP. So in here we have four types in our presentation, which is communicative learning teaching, task-based learning, project-based learning, and content-based instruction. Okay, and the first one I want to explain is communicative learning teaching. Okay, so this method is focused on using English for real communication, not on memorizing grammar rules. And in this method, students are encouraged to use English to express their thoughts, to share ideas, and respond naturally in different situations. And also, in here, it helps build fluency, confidence, and good interpersonal skills, which are all very important in professional communication. So, when and how CLT is used in ESP, the first one, CLT is used when learners is interact with clients, patients, or colleagues in real situation. And also, it can help students practice English in realistic situations that reflect their future workplace communication. Okay, and then I have some examples for this method. The first one is when in field business English. So the purpose in here is to practice persuasive speaking and turn-taking skills. For the activity example, like role-play business meetings, product presentation, or client negotiations. And next, the next example is tourism English that have the aim is role-play hotel check-in or giving travel information. This help learners develop their hospitality and customer service language. Next, please. Okay, that is about the CLT. Now we move to the second one. It is the task-based learning or TBL. Okay, the second method is TBL, which is this method emphasize learners' interaction as both the means and the goal of the learning. In here, students learn English through performing meaningful tasks, or in other words, they use English as a tool to complete real-world activities. And also, it allows learners to build language skills while also practicing collaboration, problem solving, and professional communication. And when and how TBL is used in ESP. All right, TBL is used when learners need to apply English in specific work-related contexts, and it helps them integrate languages with professional skills, not just speaking, but also thinking and creating in English. And through this method, students gain confidence using English to accomplish authentic tasks. Okay, and I also have the example for this method. In business English, the purpose is to practicing the persuasive speaking, turn taking, and negotiation skills. For example, like prepare a marketing proposal, design a business plan, or hold a mock meeting to discuss company goals. And the second example is for medical English. The purpose is to build empathy, questioning, and explanation skills in healthcare communication. For example, like role play giving medical advice, writing a short patient report, or explaining a medical procedure to a patient. Okay, that is about the methods, but we are not finished yet. There are still two methods that will explain by my partner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anggi. So next, the third method is project-based learning or PBL. So according to Stoller and Thomas, PBL is a learner-centered method where students work on extended projects related to their specific fields by through planning, researching, and creating a final product. So, when and how PBL is used in ESP. So it is used when learners need to apply English in real professional context, like for example in tourism, business, or health context. And students plan and complete a project such as creating materials, reports, or presentations. And ends with a tangible product like, for example, brochure, course book, or proposal. The example in ESP, there are tourism English. So the purpose is to improve descriptive and promotional language for tourism context. The example like designing a tour package or travel brochure. And in English for education, the purpose to apply ESP theory to practice and integrate language with subject content. For example, like designing a course book or teaching material for a specific subject. Next, please. Okay, the fourth method is content-based instructions or CBI. So according to Brinton, Snow and Weste, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. So CBI is a method that integrates language learning with subject matter content, allowing students to learn English while studying topics from their specific fields. And when and how CBI is used in ESP. It is used when learners need to build both language skills and professional knowledge in their disciplines. And students learn language through content like, for example, reading articles, writing reports, or giving presentation about their specialty. And instructor act as a facilitator, guiding learners to understand subject content while improving English proficiency. The example in ESP, they are business English. The purpose is to develop reading comprehension and vocabulary in business context. For example, like analyze business case studies or company reports. And there is English for engineering. The purpose is to strengthen technical vocabulary and reading for specific purpose. For example, like learn technical concepts through projects, reports, or manuals. Okay, so that's it about the uh, types of methods in ESP. Next material will be presented by my partner.
Okay, thank you for the time, Desa. I will explain about the relationship between method and specialization. The ESP methodology must be aligned with the learner's professional specialization. This means that methods and paths should reflect what people actually do in their jobs. For example, the first one, medical students. The medical students learn about symptoms and write medical reports. Second, about business students. The business students prepare presentations, negotiate and write emails. Third, about tourism students. The tourism students practice welcoming guests, explaining our plans, or handling complaints. And the last one for engineering students. The engineering students describe technical process, machines, or safety procedures. By connecting lessons to real workplace situations, ESP helps students gain both language skill and professional confidence. Okay, the next material will be presented by
All right, thank you so much for the time, Nia. Now we will move into the method and workplace context. As we know, ESP or English for Specific Purpose is a student-based course, isn't it? So that it means that the learning and the teaching methods will be depend on the student needs, goals, and even their background. Therefore, the teaching style or the teaching method depends on where and how learning happens. Where here means that the place where the students will use English. For the example, the doctor will use English in the hospital, or the pilot will use English in the aircraft. Both of them might be used English in the different places, like maybe in the restaurant, but they use English as the customer, right? Not as the pilot or not as a doctor. And about the how here means the way student will use English. For the example, as postgraduated students will use English for writing research proposal in the future. And another example is waiters will use English to serve the guests. So it is about the way the students will use English to do what. And then, so that's why ESP always be contextual. It is based on where and how. So the methods will be integrated or will be combined to make a good learning or the good teaching methods here. For the example, in the academic field or the academic ESP, as we know, the academic like lecturer students will use ESP for reports and research presentations, so that the teacher will conducting into the CLT, TBL, PBL, and even CBI method to make a good learning. And for the second example is in the corporate field or corporate ESP. And for the corporate, the people in here are like the business executives, managers, marketing officer, and human resource staffs, which they usually do the meetings, writing professional emails, and even collaborating with the international colleagues. That's why by applying or combining the methods in ESP, the learning that will be happen in the ESP course will be conducting into making managing meetings or presentations, writing professional emails or business reports, and even collaborating with international colleagues or making teamwork. And then the third field is the technical ESP or technical field, where the people in here are usually like the engineers, technicians, construction superiors, lab technologists, and also mechanics. All of these people will learn ESP to be able to read or give or follow the instructions in English, read or write manual or safety documents, and use technical English during the teamwork or the workplace. So the method that will be used in this course, or for sure, will be combining all of the methods. And the last field is the online ESP, or we can say it is a hybrid ESP. It can be conducted in online or even offline. As we know, we live in the modern era where people usually call themselves like, I am working from home. So we are very common with the word WFH, work from home. So that's why the person who work in the online field or the hybrid field are like the remote employees, virtual assistants, graphic designers, freelancers, and even online customer service agents. So by following the ESP class and the teachers combining the methods in ESP, the students will be able to do a video simulations where they will do a role play meeting or interview through recorded videos, and also manage to have a digital resources from online courses, chat platforms, and project management tools along with virtual communications through emails, chats, or online meetings. And so that, in short, ESP is not just about teaching English, but it is about teaching the right English for the right situations. Please highlight this sentence, guys. It is about teaching English in the right kind of English for the right situations. So we, as a teacher, must understand about how and where English is used in the workplace, so the learning will become more meaningful and practical for the students. And that's all about my material. For the next material will be presented by my partner.
Okay, thank you so much for the time, Irma. Now let's talk about how general English methods are adapted for ESP. Usually, ESP teachers do not create completely new methods. Instead, they start from general English method and then modify them to meet the learner's professional needs. So this adaptation makes English learning more practical, goal-oriented, and connected to their real-life communication. So now let's take a look at some examples in here. The first one, in general English, grammar exercise often cover many tenses and sentences types, but in ESP, teacher focus only on grammar that is used in their job. For example, Engineers may learn grammar for giving instruction, while business students focus on describing process or making suggestion. The second one is in general English, role play might be about daily situation like shopping or introducing the learner itself, but in ESP, role plays simulate professional interaction. For example, maybe a business meeting, customer service, or hotel check-in in tourism English. The third one is in listening practice, general English might use everyday conversation. In ESP, the teacher replaced them with real recordings from the workplace, such as client interview, safety briefing, or staff meetings. And for writing tasks, general English might include writing stories or professional letters. In ESP, the focus is on job-related writing like reports, proposal, or formal email used in professional communication. And the last one, vocabulary lesson in English, in general English are board, while in ESP, they focus on field-specific terminology. For example, medical students learn anatomy terms, and tourist students learn about words related to hospital and travel. So, guys, by adapting general English method in this way, ESP teachers makes the learning process more relevant and meaningful. It also helps students not only learn English but also use it effectively in their professional environment. Okay, that's all about um, how general English methods are adapted for ESP. The next material will be presented by my partner.
Okay, next we move to evaluating the effectiveness of ESP methods. Evaluating ESP method involves assessing how effectively this method enable learners to meet their communication goals in authentic or real-world situations. The process goes beyond simple testing. It focuses on practical application, ensuring that language skills are transferable to professional or academic contexts where learners will use them. The case strategies include pre and post test, inf- uh, teacher self-reflection, real-life performance tasks, and then feedback from students and employers. The first, let's talk about pre and post test. This measure language improvement by comparing learner skill before and after the course. And then the second, so, and then the second informative informant tasks. This includes hands-on activities like role plays or report writing. They evaluate learners' ability to apply ESP skills in simulated real-life scenarios, providing insight into practical competence. And the next feedback from learners and employers. Gathering input from the student about their experience and from employers about graduates' performance help identify strengths and the gaps. And the last is teacher reflections. Instructor reviews what worked well and what didn't, such as adjusting lesson plans based on the observed challenge. This ongoing self-assessment fosters interactive improvements. The aim is to track progress and extend teaching for better workplace arrangements. Okay, that's all about evaluating the effectiveness of ESP methods. And the next material will be presented by my partner.
back dia. Can you turn back to the... Okay. Okay, so I want to summarize about our today's presentation that talk about methodology for ESP. So as we all know, ESP method is a practical, flexible, and goal-oriented. Methodology in ESP refers to approach, techniques, and procedures that used to teach English that related to a specific professional fields or academic fields. So unlike general English, ESP is a learner-centered course that focus on what the learner's goals and what they want to achieve in learning English. And teaching must match learner's field and learner needs. So just like explained it before by my friends, ESP does not only use a one fixed method. Teachers or ESP designer can use several methods depending on the learner's goal and context. So there are several methods that can be used in ESP. There are a communicative language teaching, a task-based learning, project-based learning, content-based instruction, and a blended learning. And the fourth, and the next, ESP methodology must align with a job specialization so that the task will actually reflect about what the learners actually want to do in their workplace. For instance, tourism students practice handling guests, meanwhile engineering students describe about technical process of something. And ESP is also influenced by the workplace context, whether academic, technical, or corporate, because each of these requires a specific focus, such as academic writing for students and teamwork language for a technical fields. An ESP teacher also often adapt general English method to professional context. So things such as grammar, writing, listening, and reading are all modified to fit a real-life workplace communication. And finally, ESP methods will be evaluated to see how effectively they can help learners to achieve their communication goals or the things that they want to achieve by joining the ESP class. And this evaluation might include a test, performance test, learning feedback, and a teacher reflection. So in summary, ESP methodology is flexible and learner-centered. It also based on real communication tasks adapted from general methods to professional context and evaluated by how well student can perform in a real-world communication. So that's all about the summary. And then here are our references. Next. So here are, sorry. So here are the references that we use for these presentations. There are Hutchison T. and Waters A. in 1987, Cambridge University Press, Baxterman 2010, Anthony L. 2018, Mamurai Ye W. 2020, and Lestari Erce 2015. Next.
Okay, guys,
So,
that's all about our presentation about methodology for ESP. Now we're in Q&A session. We're open for 3 participants. If you guys have any question, please raise your hand and type it on the column chat below. Thank you. Okay, the first one we have Wulan. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Devanga. My voice is clear there.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's clear.
Okay. I'm sorry for the loud noise here. So I want to ask about can project-based learning be effectively implemented in large class or online settings? And what adaptation would be necessary? That's all my question. Thank
Okay, thank you, Wulan. Please type your question in the chat column below. So
Okay.
the next one, yes, thank you, Wulan. The next one we have Amanda. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunities, Deva. My question is, what challenge might teachers face in implementing ESP methodologies? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. And the last one we have Ambarika. The time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunities. I would like to ask about text-based learning, especially the three main steps of it. Could you please explain what those steps are and how they work in ESP context? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ambarika. Now, please let us discuss it on the group in 1 minute. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I will answer Amanda question. Amanda question is, what challenges may teachers face in implementing ESP methodologies? So the answer is, teacher who teach ESP often face several difficulties. For example, they may not fully understand their students' professional fields, such as tourism, business, or engineering, which makes it hard to create suitable materials. In addition, teaching uh, resources that match real workplace situation are not always available. So teachers often have to make their own. Another challenge is balancing language teaching with the specific content of each field. Since students have different uh, levels of ability, and assessment is also not as simple as regular test. It must measure how well student can actually use English in real situation. Therefore, ESP teachers need to be creative, flexible, and ready to adjust their teaching methods so that student can learn effectively according to their professional needs. So, bagaimana Amanda? Apakah bisa diterima?
Yes, thank you for the answer, Dwi.
Okay, thank you Amanda.
Okay, I will answer the last question. I think, yes, project-based learning can work in large or online ESP class, but it needs smart management. The teacher students into small facts and use online tools like as small groups, gives each uh, and like as Zoom or Google Docs to help them work together. And the project must be simple enough to manage, but still connected to real professional situation. The teacher can check each group's progress weekly and use situation. The teacher can combine group marks with individual report, keeps it fair, with structure and good digital support. For example, PBL stays practical and meaningful even in big or online classes. Okay, that's all about my answer. How about Ulan? Do you agree with my answer, Ulan? Okay, I think Ulan just not here for a moment, and the next answer is Dia. Is Dia?
Okay, so here I want to answer Yani question. In the slide, it explain what TBL and then how it's used in ESP, but I noticed it doesn't mention the three main steps of TBL. Could you please explain what those steps are and how they work in ESP context? Okay. Okay, the first is for pretext or before the text. In the step, the teacher introduces the topic and give useful vocabulary or expression related to tourism. The goal is to help students understand the situation and get ready for the text. For the example, in tourism English, students learn how to greet tourists, give direction, and describe tourists attraction before doing a role play as tour guides. And the second, task cycle, or during the text. Students work in pairs or group to complete a real life tourism related tasks using English. The focus is on communication and using language naturally. For the example, in tourism English, students work together to plan a one-day city tour and then present it to the class, explaining the itinerary and then place to visit. And the last, post-test. It for after the text, and then after finishing the text, the class discuss the result and the teacher give feedback, corrects mistakes, and highlights useful phrase or pronunciations. This helps students improve their professional communication skills. Same with before, for the example is tourism English. This teacher give feedbacks on how to speak politely to tourists or how to make descriptions. Description sounds more interesting. That's all my answer, Yani.
Okay, that's clear, Dia. Thank you so much.
Is that clear, Yani?
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, here.
All right, everyone. That's all about today's presentation about methodology for ESP. I hope what we have been explained will be make a benefit for all of you. Thank you so much for your kind attention. See you in the next meeting.